So then the next morning, she walks out to see two men doing the sexiest thing they could ever be doing in the whole wide world, okay?
The minute I fucking saw that. Listener, I'm going to give you 3 seconds to think to yourself what the sexiest thing that two shirtless men could possibly be doing.
To me, Melody, in the middle of my obsession.
2, 3.
They're gardening.
They're tilling soil. They're fucking gardening.
They're setting up some new vegetable beds. I'm Melody Carlisle.
And I'm Sabrina Bradley.
And this is Heaving Bosoms. This is the podcast where best friends recap romance novels and other kissing media that makes us swoon, snark, and refills our cups.
Whether you've read the book or are coming in blind, we'll lay bare every delicious scene and revel in the tropes and subgenres that make romance amazing.
All right, listener, strap in and strap on. Headphones are highly recommended. Hello.
Long time no see.
Too long time no see. Hello.
We've realized, listener, that we're a little codependent now that we have embarked on this recording thing together, this podcast experience. And now we're like, my week is weird because I haven't talked to you.
Yeah. My week is weird because we haven't talked twice this week. Plus a meeting.
Yes.
I would also like a meeting. Thank you so much. So 3 times in one week is best.
Yeah.
For me, Melody.
Yes. Yes, no, I fully agree with that.
Oh my God. So Valor the other day went and got her little pad out and she was doing a shapes test for us, for everybody. You're going to figure out if we know our shapes. And as we were doing this, it morphed into her just asking us to draw things. And I was up first. I did my shapes. I messed up one time so that she could feel good about correcting me.
Okay, that's fucking adorable.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
She was like, Mom, like, that's not a triangle. She's like looking around being like, I don't want you to be embarrassed. Anyway, so then she started asking me to draw things like smiley faces or whatever. And I was like, okay, this is great. Yay, yay, yay. I have to go do the dishes now. So your dad's up next. And Michael was like, all right, Valor, what do you want me to draw? What kind of shape do you want me to draw? And she goes, you're going to draw Elsa.
She's like, all right, Mom, you get the triangles, you get the squares.
Yes.
Dad, I'd like a lifelike, realistic Elsa.
Yeah. I mean, she's coming at us with our art level, you know? Like, if you want a real life dog, you go to Michael. If you want a sideways smiley face, you come to me.
I did not realize that Michael was an artist.
I didn't either for a very long time. The very first time I found out that he was artistic, and there should have been more clues because like his mom's house has a bunch of like the lifestyle drawings that he did in high school or whatever. I just didn't really even think about it. But the first time I found out that he was artistic, he thought that I was being sarcastic and making fun of him because we were doing like a welcome home sign for our friend Tanya, friend of the pod, Tanya. And right at that moment in our lives, she was obsessed with Angry Birds. And so Michael, just out of nowhere, starts like cutting out shapes and drawing stuff or whatever. And there's just like an angry bird all of a sudden that we can put on the sign. And I was like, Michael, oh my God, that is such a good Angry Bird. what? I didn't know that you could make an angry bird like that. And it's like so simple to him that he was like, I can't tell if you're making fun of me or not. And I was like, no, I'm completely sincere. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah, I'm not an artist like that. Like, I can't.
Few and far between for me.
Whenever somebody does an art, I am always like, wow, that is like the wildest thing that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyway.
so we've got patrons that we get to shout out.
We do.
I'm very stoked about it. Hey.
Me too.
Thank you so much for joining our Patreon. This is so fun.
We've been having a good time over there lately, I feel like.
Yeah. We've started doing
quickies.
Yeah, we've started doing quickies. And then we're also doing the Crescent City recaps every other week so that then you get content related to other books and more books that you've seen on pod or whatever on the other weeks. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. Hey, thanks. Welcome to Erica V and Lori U,
Kaylee TT and Kaylee M,
Lauren and Callum T,
Kate K and Vicky RB,
Shelly G and Anna B,
and then Elizabeth D and Laura C. Hello and
Hi.
welcome.
Hi, we're so happy
excited
to have you
here.
Yeah. Okay. I am so ready to talk about this shockingly horny post-apocalyptic book.
Okay, whoa, but I was not fucking prepared.
I didn't realize it was an erotic romance.
I did not either.
I didn't expect group play, okay?
I did not either, especially group play where one of them is not like a hero.
Yeah.
It's just their friend.
He's just a guest star.
How fan-fucking-tastic is that?
I fucking love it. I do have to say that I have been in mourning a little bit because I went down this Outlaws hole hard, okay? I've listened to this book just about 3 times now. And
damn,
I've listened to the other 2 books in the series as well. So I know everything that happens. And then I did a deep dive online because I was like, she's obviously setting up the brother and this hot smuggler. And like that needs to happen. But these are the 3 books and she doesn't have plans to write anymore. And like, I get it. Follow your muse. But also I'm so sad.
So when I finished the book, okay, by the way, listener, book is claimed by Elle Kennedy.
Yeah.
And it's the Outlaws series.
Uh-huh.
And when I finished book, I was like, Dominic has to have a fucking book. So I went to look at the other 2 book synopses. And he doesn't have one.
No.
I was also kind of sad that the MMS ended up not being 2 other people.
Oh, did you want it to be Jamie and Lennox?
Lennox and Jamie.
Yeah. Shockingly, it's better.
I'm not shocked. I also want him to be, I want Rylan to be with everybody, frankly.
Truly. Yeah. Yeah. But he settles down. Anyway, I can do quickies for you on both of those.
Absolutely. Because I've put the like full stop on you for some series and I've realized I can't.
I'm still mad at you about it.
I am Melody. I am so deep in the Omegaverse rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Right
and
now.
You should follow your bliss.
You
should let me talk about my bliss.
But that's okay. And I plan to read them, but what I've realized is, so like I do continue to say you're not allowed to tell me about the rest of the Somewhere in the Middle of Somewhere series because I am in the process of reading.
That's fine. But like I gotta talk about some Viraxia nonsense.
Yes.
I'm on book, I think 7 or 8 of
That's
Elizabeth
fine, because guess what? I'm
universe.
not in a alien mood right now, a sci-fi mood, which is honestly shocking and does not often happen to me.
Right.
That's like my fallback when I don't know what I want to read.
Yeah.
But my Swiss cheese memory means that
that's what I'm saying.
I'm
You're
not
not.
gonna remember.
No, absolutely
Yeah.
not. Especially when I do like, quickies. Like, I don't do every detail
Mhm.
for you. There's still going to be
Mhm.
so many surprises.
Oh yeah,
You
I can't
know?
wait. I can't wait. I think my favorite part of Quickie is I can just really make it so that you can't tell me hardly anything
Yeah.
because I can be like, you have 6 minutes.
Oh yeah,
Fucking go.
listener. The deal with quickies is that whoever's not telling the story gets to put a time limit on the other person. And usually we
Mhm.
try to keep it to like 10 minutes, maybe a few more than that, but
Mhm.
but sometimes bitch gets it done in like 6 or 7 minutes.
Or I need to go the fuck to sleep or
Yeah,
go to book club.
or
And
me
so
too.
I'm like, okay, Mel, you have 7 fucking
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
Go.
Fantastic. It's so fun. Okay, so
Well, and this
anyway,
arose. Well, real
hmm.
quick though, the whole quickie thing arose because you were gonna tell me about uh
All 3
whatchamacallit.
other books in the Ruthless series by Theodora
Yes.
Taylor.
And then guess what, listener? She was gonna tell me about all 3 of them. An hour and like 10 minutes later, she's done with the first book. And she's like, damn it,
And
I
it
really
was
wanted to
like,
tell you.
it wasn't even my favorite one in the series,
I know. And then you were like, oh dang it, I really wanted to tell you about the second book though.
And then
And I
I
like paused
coerced
and
her.
I looked at the time and I was like, okay, you have I think it was like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you finished that and you were like, dang it, but my favorite one is the last book. I really
Uh-huh.
want to tell you about. And I was like, okay, you have 7 fucking
And
minutes, Mel.
I got it
Go. Fucking
done.
did that ghosty
Yeah.
bullshit. So anyway, that's what a quickie is, listener. It's delightful.
They're
It's
so
pretty
fun.
fun.
And it really like makes you lock into like what is the most important thing about every book, Like
Yes.
I love
Uh-huh.
it. Okay. Anyway, we have to talk about Claimed.
Yes. Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. Okay, there has been a war that has ravaged the earth, okay? There's like nukes and shit that have gone down and whole populations have been taken out. Now it's outlaw times because they've done a bit like a secular
A dystopian.
Yeah, a dystopian but like a secular Handmaid's Tale kind of situation. There's like a global government and they're
Yes.
locking shit
And
down.
in cities, and the population control is very intense. There are people who are breeders. They're the only one. Everybody else gets sterilized.
Yeah, 90% of women are sterilized.
They have a universal income and get
No
this,
medicine.
no health care.
At all. No medicine, period, the end. Not even health care.
Nothing.
No medicine. It's not allowed. Unless you're a part of the council or you're a counselor's kid. But anyway.
All of these books take place outside of the cities.
Yes. In outlaw country. And in outlaw country, there are 2 types of people. There are outlaws who like just rebel against the government that they don't agree with. But then there are bandits. And bandits are just free-for-all people. They steal from everybody. They've got no code of honor. They just do whatever they want. So we walk in to a bar that actually sounds like the most fun and maybe should be in now times.
Honestly, I want that bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be a morgue. And so they keep all of the booze like where the bodies would go. And it's underneath a defunct hospital because nobody gets to use hospitals anymore. And we've got the whole batch of boys, okay? There's Connor.
Oh my God.
Woo, Connor. He's the alpha. He's the leader of the pack. He's got dark hair and hazel eyes. Everybody's over 6 foot tall.
Oh my God. They're all just smoking hot.
They've got
ripped
weapons
to
out
shreds.
the wazoo. Yeah. Then there's Ryland. Ryland is a southern slut, and we love him. And he's just like slut life for life, I think one of the first lines in the book is Ryland saying, I need to get drunk and laid, and not necessarily in that order. And then there's 3 other guys who are great, but like don't super matter. Pike, Zayden, and Cade. They're all at the bar, and it's like their first opportunity
I
to
gotta
get
say,
shit-faced.
I fucking love Pike and his grouchy, growly, angry. I just love him.
Pike doesn't get a book either. It's okay.
I know.
It's all right, everybody. We're fine.
I want Sanders' book. I love a hacker.
I know. Well, and oh my God.
And Cade.
I
Cade and Xander definitely would have ended up in a poly situation.
Oh. Maybe.
What? Does one of them die?
Or maybe something terrible happens in book 2. And maybe Melody was actually crying in the fetal position for about 5 minutes.
Oh, great. Okay, well, let's fucking get this shit over with. Then you can give me a quickie. Thank you. All right, let's fucking go.
So they're all there, and it's their first opportunity to get drunk in a while. And then this hot, foxy lady walks in. She is she's got blonde hair, okay? She's got legs for days, it says. That's a direct quote.
God, Melody, I can't. Spoil it for me, please. For the love of God, I literally cannot focus on this first
Right
book
here on the
without
podcast? Okay,
You
I'll
can
bleep
cut
it out.
it.
I'll bleep it out. And
I am unreasonably distraught right
I
now.
know.
Okay.
I know.
Cool. So back to the hottie in a leather jacket.
Oh, hey, we're back now.
Um,
Oh, not only leather jacket, my friend, and I really need to talk about this. I'm so sorry. There aren't going to be a lot of like detailed, dives here, but like, what in the post-apocalyptic fuck are you doing in leather pants? What are you doing in leather pants?
You realize that leather is like, I'm sure that leather is very common
No,
post-apocalyptically.
no, leather chaps, okay, but like full-on leather pants? You're just gonna swim in your own sweat the whole time.
Not necessarily.
She can't bathe.
Yeah, that's true.
There's
That's
no
true.
bathing ever. Like, there's minimal bathing. You gotta be lucky. You gotta have like a sweet setup to have a regular bathing situation that's not just a lake outside. Good luck finding a lake.
I just
Leather
whimsy the fuck out of it.
That, like, where your vagina is going to. Wow.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have a hell of a yeast infection.
I mean, not even necessarily that. It's just gonna be real potent, Like, it's gonna be a little swampy down there. Like, why would you do that?
That potent post-apocalyptic pussy.
Yeah. Yes, potent post-apocalyptic pussy.
I feel like that needs to be on
That's
the
an
embrace
embrace
for next
thing.
year.
Oh,
Wow,
shit.
yeah.
Okay.
Not I whimsy the shit out of that.
I couldn't whimsy it. And I'm not even usually like a body odor person, unless it's me. And then I'm just constantly worried. But
I mean, Zach, yeah, me too. Same.
Yeah.
Samesies.
Yeah.
Like the minute I can smell myself, I'm like, oh
no. Yeah. Oh no.
Which, like, to be completely frank,
Yeah.
I live alone. So I'm not going to say that that's not a regular occurrence. You
No,
know what I mean?
Fair. I don't live alone, and that's a regular occurrence. That's just depression.
You're like, I don't. Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. Love
Anyway,
it.
so she walks into the bar, and Connor realizes that he has never been as instantly turned on by
This
a
man
person.
Has the most insane immediate boner.
He's
right
got,
now.
oh, it's just
Like at the very
turgid.
he's half chubbing.
Oh,
Man.
that is an understatement. And to be fair, she has the same reaction to him. She's like, there's 5 hot guys over there, but like that one, though, is very compelling.
But king of the hotties.
Yeah.
King of the fucking hotties. So they're like eyeballing each other back and forth and catching each other's eyes. And then some bandits come rolling up into this bitch.
Yeah, so they do a big old throwdown on these bandits. Some of them die. Others get to run away. They're merciful when they need to be. But what's her name? Hudson is the heroine. And she like hides under a table. I think she gets like pulled down under a table and hides. As she's watching all of this happen, Connor like goes out the door with 3 of the guys. Rylan got wounded in the neck. He like took a graze bullet on the neck. So he's bleeding a bit. And they're going to head back to like wherever they live. And so she books it out the door after them, grabs her duffel bag full of weapons, and is like, take me with you. And it says like they're the desperation laced 4 words, whoa, take me with you.
And he's like, I don't take in strays and fucks off. And then Cade guilts the shit out of him
Yeah.
and is like, absolutely not.
There is one detail I have to talk about before we get to that. So he's like, no, we don't take in strays. And like, she's like, I can help you. I have medical training. And he's like, so do we, lady. Like, it's fine. We don't need you. She's like, I can cook for you. And he's like, oh, come on. And then she's like, I'm even good with weapons. And he's like, I bet. And so then she like lunges on him. And she's got him with a knife to the throat. And then he looks at her because then she feels his erection. And he looks her in the eye.
So fucking horny for this.
Yes. And he says, that's right. I'm so hard right now. What are you going to do about it? And she's like, probably nothing. And then he's like, you could suck me off right here. And like they start going back and forth about that kind of stuff. And then finally he says, either slit my throat or suck my dick. But like either way, we got to get going. And I was like, oh my gosh.
That's when I realized, oh, this is going to be a horny book.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is going to be like a dirty horny book.
It was hot.
You know?
It was hot.
It's great.
Yeah.
This is like grungy horny. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So Cade guilt trips him after they leave. And so he does turn around.
Yeah.
Yes. And he does turn around to go grab her. And he's like, you can stay one night, maybe two. And shocker, spoiler listener.
Yeah.
She stays much longer than that.
She stays much longer. In the car, she's like, Rylan, let me look at your wound. And he's like, I'm fine. And she's like, no, let me look at it. And then she realizes she doesn't have any bandages. And so she does just take off her shirt so that she can bandage his neck right up with her shirt. And then she's just bra out.
And I'm like, ma'am, how many shirts do you have that you can just be willy-nilly, like,
how post-apocalyptic are we talking? You know what I mean?
Okay, so, like, I had that question, too, because there is running water. There are generators. You can still get gas and petroleum and stuff like that.
Right? Like, it's tough. There are fewer factories, but, like, they're still making condoms. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
also, like, I'm very curious what the STI situation is in this post-apocalyptic
It's got to be
world.
rampant, right? Because you're not allowed to use antibiotics as a general population.
Yeah. So, like, does anybody have a nose? You know? Or is everybody syphilitic?
Right? No, I know. Like, how is Rylan alive other than antibiotics?
How the fuck is Rylan alive?
Yeah.
Is the most accurate thing I've ever heard in my life. If there's any takeaway that you can get from this book, it is that Rylan is a hot mess.
And that is the biggest impediment between him and the lady who refuses to have sex with him. It's great.
I can't wait for this quickie.
It's great.
So another really important note that we find out in the beginning of this book is that there's a character named Dominic who Mel and I have already squeed about saying we want his book, but he is the bad guy in this book. So, or starts off as the bad guy.
Yeah.
We'll learn his deep, tragic, Sebastian history.
Yeah, Connor wants to kill him dead.
Yeah, because we don't know.
We don't know yet, but yeah.
But turns out Hudson, by the way, that's her name, the lead gal, is his twin sister.
And he's like head enforcer, which is like the soldiers of this time and place. And lately, apparently they've gone like rogue. It used to be that when enforcers encountered outlaws, they would be like, either get in line or you die. Like, you can come to the city with us and be a city person, or we'll kill you. But now they just go into outlaw camps and they're like, it's death from the go.
Murder Leighton.
Yeah. So everybody's really worried about that. And they've noticed that there's been increased activity with Dominic and his soldiers in this area. And so one of the first, like, sort of mini conflicts is, do we leave our super plush, like, used to be a mountain resort, has 24 cabins on the place, can do running water kind of situation? Do we leave to, like, try and get away from Dominic, or do we stay and risk it? And most of them
Yeah.
want to stay and risk it.
Which,
So-
like, fair.
Totally understandable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they get to the resort, she finds out that they can do baths. And she's like, what? And then Connor's like, you want a bath, don't you? And she's like, more than anything in the whole wide world, I am swimming in these leather pants.
I have potent post-apocalyptic pussy right now, my friend.
Nobody wants
I need
that.
something. I need something to handle this.
Yeah. So he draws her a bath and he's like, it's ready now. And so she's like, thank you so much. Because he doesn't
Then he-
believe her. He doesn't believe,
Yeah.
like, he doesn't trust her. And so he wants to find out her backstory.
And then he straight up ambushes her while she's fucking naked in the bath to get more information. And, like, sir. Also, we learn that the outlaws are a bunch of sex fiends. It's a fuckopolis.
If there's no tomorrow, then why not? And that's one of the things, like, he's like, she's telling me that she's an outlaw. She's telling me that her whole group was killed and that's why she's alone and looking for another group. But the fact that she's so uncomfortable being naked around me or like anybody leads me to believe that she's not actually an outlaw who's been living in a group camp for a while because nobody has any modesty at that point.
All I could think, though, is like, I feel like, so, okay, listener, I don't remember when we find this out exactly, but the reason Connor hates Dominic is because Dominic killed his wife and all of his group. And all I could think was Maggie and her farmer family those are outlaws and they do not strike me as the type to not be concerned with nudity.
No, I agree with that. But he definitely makes it clear that like Maggie and her whole family are the outliers in this place. And that's why he was attracted to her. So he encountered her and her family. Right now, it's illegal to be religious. You're not supposed to have religion or like care about race or creed. No, there's no more social classes or whatever because they're trying to make it so like people don't fight anymore. It's the global whatever. Doesn't matter. So anyway, her dad was a preacher and then sort of stayed that way out on their farm, didn't go to a city, and raised Maggie and her sisters to be just as religious and value monogamy and value marriage and all of like the Judeo-Christian principles.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
and when he encountered them, he was like, oh my gosh, like Maggie is just this light of hope and positivity and all the stuff. And like, how can she be so bright and warm in this terrible life? And at first, he wants that light in his life. But then about a year into their relationship, he realizes that it's not that she finds the brightness in a dark world. It's that she's sort
naive.
she refuses to believe the world is dark. And it's all naivete. So I don't know. Like, I think she's definitely the outlier, but you're totally right. Like, there isn't one kind of outlaw, Connor, you know?
I feel like you don't need to be a Judeo-Christian.
No.
Like some people, what about all of the asexy outlaws, you know? Or like demi outlaws. Like,
Absolutely.
but not everybody's going to go just cock first into every situation, Connor.
Especially since Connor is one of the people who doesn't ever go cock first into any situation, allegedly, you know?
Yeah. So he still doesn't trust her, still doesn't believe her, but she does cave and she's like, okay, fine. I came from a city, but she doesn't say anything more than that. And he's like, that's more truthful than you were being. And then they take her on a raid. They had a planned raid and now they are just letting this stranger come along.
Well, they can't leave her at camp, Sabrina. And when she comes to breakfast, she makes it very clear that she somehow has intel on how the enforcers are like changing up their security protocol.
Yeah, because she says that she met 2 deserters.
And they just
the
randomly
road.
told her all of the security protocols of every outpost in the country.
You want to know how she would have gotten that information? It's called magic heroin pussy.
I mean, there is
what
that.
It is.
No, absolutely. And she's got
Absolutely.
it, you know?
Yeah.
She's got it. But anyway,
Yes.
she's like, there are only 2 dudes and landmines now. And they're like, that changes the game. And we also don't trust you. And so we're taking you with us. And turns out her intel checks out. While they're doing a reconnaissance, though, she keeps on like rubbing her, like she doesn't even realize that she's rubbing up on him like a cat, just like rubbing her tit on his arm. And he's like, you want it bad, don't you? And she's like, what? I have no idea what you're talking about. And he just like reaches out and grabs one of those tits and like harder. It says harder than she or anyone else had ever grabbed them. And she's like, I didn't know that attraction could like be so serious it hurts. And on bath night, I'm so sorry. They had this back and forth where he was like, you want me. And he's like, I could bend you over that table and you would love it. And then
book, y'all,
they
is
start
so
talking about
horny.
something else. I know. And then as he's leaving, she's like, Connor, yes. And he's like, yes. She's like, I would love it if you did that thing you described doing. And it's so funny. So his whole thing is she's obviously sexually inexperienced, but he has to make this distinction in his own head. He's like, but that doesn't make her weak. She can still be tough and like not super sexual before. Like, what? How do those things have anything to do with each other, Connor?
Well, you see, you get more hit points to your stamina. Like you have more stamina and things like that. The more times you've had sex.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I should be a brawler, berserker.
Wow, I would be
right now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yep. I feel that on such a deeply emotional level. I am the party tank. What I am.
Oh boy. Anyway, so they do this raid.
I feel like I just leveled up.
I know. Just recently. So they do this raid, and afterwards he takes her to what she calls a whorehouse. I'm still not clear, like, how the commerce of outlaws
I have no fucking
works.
idea. Like, I was like, every single time they talked about like trading favors and stuff like that, I was like, I don't know.
But how food then? You know?
Yeah.
How food? Where?
Yeah, you can call on me at some point in the future in exchange for 3 carrots.
Yeah. And it's great because he's like, yeah, it's all favor system or whatever. And in his head, in his inner monologue, he's like, yeah, Lennox is a really great guy, but he doesn't call in his favors enough to justify the amount of times me and my guys spend at his establishment with all of his ladies.
Fucking his women and drinking his liquor.
And not just his, he co-owns it with his best friend, who is also a woman. Like, it's very egalitarian. It's very above board. Everybody has sex because they want to. It's not like,
it's fantastic.
It's not like a pandering situation.
This is the perfect sex work situation.
Yeah, it's an ideal sex work situation, not a trafficking situation. Anyway, but at the same time, I was like, hey, Lennox, he just told you he got back from a run. Like, maybe ask for some of those antibiotics, Like,
keep the syphilis out, my friend.
The favor could absolutely be a few of those supplies, Like, I don't understand. It's fine. One of the favors that somebody else asks for is for somebody to drive 3 days somewhere to pick lavender for her.
Mm-hmm.
And like, don't get me wrong. I get it.
I was just going to say,
I understand.
Mel, that is the most you favor I can possibly imagine. I could totally see you becoming the queen of the outlaws and like lording your favors over people, and all of the favors involve. Yes, exactly.
Go get me a foxglove.
You would gain power just so that you could have a garden, right?
Oh yeah. No, for sure. Absolutely.
And the funniest part is in this post-apocalyptic situation, it's not a food garden. You would, in fact, have a flower
It's all
garden.
flowers. You can eat some of them, though. Get off my junk, okay?
I am so excited. So my new lawn person came while I was gone.
Oh, great.
And I have a ton of red clover in my backyard. And so he
Oh.
mowed most of it. But I asked him to leave me a little patch because I'm going to harvest it and
Hell yeah,
use
you
it
are.
for stuff.
Hell yeah. Oh, I'm jealous.
So excited.
I love
He's
that.
also keeping an eye out for railroad ties for me to use
Ooh.
for my
Raised
garden beds
beds?
and stuff like that.
Just
I'm
make sure
so
to line
excited.
those. Line them with like plastic or something impermeable because you don't want any of the chemicals that the railroad ties have been processed with to leach into the soil. So they're really great for raised beds. Just line it.
I'm glad that I mentioned something.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to have a call soon where we just putter around. That's when our fucking weekly meetings is going to start being is on like a Saturday morning while we're puttering around in our gardens.
I cannot think of a better work or friendship situation. Honestly.
Like we're going to like have no idea what's happening because our computers are far away from us.
Far away.
But we can just hang out and chat.
We'll just do like high level planning, you know?
Yeah, and
real
like
big
plotting.
picture stuff.
Plotting to take over the flower world of post-apocalyptic Pussy Town.
And to be clear, I would have vegetables. I just don't have them right now because I need to build a deer fence. And until I build a deer fence, there's no reason to grow anything that they want to eat. I tried to grow tulips.
Don't you live in a city?
I live in the suburbs. But that just makes the deer more brazen.
You get deer?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, those fuckers. I didn't know that hostas were deer candy. Apparently. I don't have hostas anymore.
What is that?
They are beautiful. It's like a perennial bush kind of situation with big leaves, and it's best in the shade, and it flowers a little bit, but mostly you like it for the foliage. And there's a ton of different kinds. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So my tulips I basically have to abandon all of my tulips, and I'm switching to daffodils next year because, FYI, listener, hyacinths and daffodils and allium are all deer resistant. And they have some pink daffodils if you don't want all yellow or white. So check it out, you know? Okay.
Huh.
What?
That's just
Sabrina's
so
just
much
blinking.
information. So
anyway,
they're there. Then we
could do a big voyeurism.
We do because everybody's just
it's just common room orgy times.
Yeah, and it's hot.
And
it's hot.
He is like, let's get a drink and we'll sit down and then I'm going to tell me what you see. And she's like, people doing sex.
And what she sees is Rylan making a woman feral crazy with his boner.
Yeah.
And his mouth and his hands.
Because he also has a big girthy dick that has a big old piercing on it.
Piercing.
Post-apocalyptic piercing. That's bravery, you know?
That is bold, especially on your cock.
Yeah. One of those cock piercings.
What if that gets infected?
There are so many questions that I have. Like, don't snag it ever, you know? Like, it's like a whole, you don't have access to medicine, sir. I don't know. Anyway, he's great.
But anyway.
So then they're watching Rylan like suck on her tits, and then he's like, don't look away. She's about to get his cock out. And I've never met a woman who didn't moan at the sight of Rylan's cock. And she's like, it's so hot that he knows so much about Rylan's cock. Oh, no.
This book is so homoerotic.
It's so good. It's so good. So anyway, because she gets so worked up that he's like, don't worry, touch yourself. Yeah, go ahead, touch yourself.
She tells Connor to get her off.
Yeah, she says, no, you do it for me.
And then, listener, he does not.
He refuses.
He tells her to ask him if he wants to fuck her.
Yeah.
And so she does. And he says, yes. And then he says, ask me if I will fuck you. And she says, will you fuck me? And he says, no. And he says, I will fuck you and give you an orgasm when you tell me the truth about where you came from.
Oh my God. And then she comes like a freight train on herself at this table. When he just can't help himself. And so he has to lean over the table and kiss her real good. And of course, that's what tumbles her over the edge of that.
Loads into a
orgasm. She
Oh my
orgasms
God.
into his mouth. It's fine. And then afterwards, he's like, all right, well, check, please. And he goes and finds another woman and has sex with her in a different room.
I was flabbergasted.
She was so mad. I would be so mad.
I would be so freaking angry.
Livid.
I would, oh boy. You know how fast I'd be slamming out that door? I'd be like, y'all having a good time in there, Connor? Huh? What are you fucking doing?
Oh my God.
You still hard? Like, obviously, I would not actually do that because I'm way too conflict avoidant.
Yeah. You would think about it, though.
I would think so. So. He'd be able to feel my brain just burning.
So she talks to like a smuggler who's only important later on. And then they head home. And up until this point, she's been on the back of his motorcycle, just like a koala on him. But now he's like, ride home with Rylan. And she's like, I'm so mad at you. And so in the car. Yeah, tell them.
Propositions Rylan and is like, I don't think I've ever lived in the moment and taken like hold of my pleasure before. Will you show me how to live in the moment and take my pleasure? And he's like,
he says, if you really want me to do that, permission. I would love to, but I'm not the person you have to ask. And she's like, what? Like Connor decides where your dick goes? And he's like, yeah, sometimes. And she's like, Connor doesn't own me. And then he looks at her and he's like, we all belong to Connor. And these boys and their loyalty through shocking circumstances,
weirdest ways.
You know?
They have the weirdest codependent relationship in that little group.
And I love it because Connor never fucks in the main room because he's the leader and he's like above it or something. And then Rylan fucks anybody, anytime, anywhere, doesn't matter the surface or the situation. Then another guy, Pike, who's a little bit scary, he only likes to watch. And so he just sort of like stands off to the side with his whiskey.
You stoic fucking jerk.
Dirty jerk. Yeah. Then Cade.
I want his blood.
I know. Then Cade and Xander always share women, but they only share with each other and nobody else. And it's hot. Everything about it is incredibly hot.
This book
is and it's like scene after scene after scene. Oh my God.
And different. They're also different. It's not the same thing over and over and over again.
Absolutely.
It's
yeah.
Fantastic.
So when they get home, he's like, I'll do all the unpacking, like you go. And she's like, oh yeah, because you can just have other people to do things for you, right? Absolutely. Bye. And Rylan tells him what she asked. And he's like, oh boy, this chick's going to be a little bit more complicated than I thought she would be. I'll talk to her tomorrow. Except she's sitting on his bed when he gets back to his room. And he says, what do you want? And she says, everything. I want to stay here. I want to contribute to the group. I want to be in your bed.
I want to be free.
Yeah, I want to learn to be free.
And then she does give him some of the truth. Okay, so she tells him that she's escaping an arranged marriage. Her father was an advisor to the council people, which is a lie. He's the one who founded this weird...
He was a council member.
Yeah, but he's also the person who founded this whole thing.
Yeah.
So she doesn't tell him that part, but so she fudges the truth a little bit.
But she says that like she worked in the medical unit and She treated enforcers, she treated council members. So, like, she's got a lot of insider knowledge because of her position and her work. She tells him how she escaped. What?
We find out that her dad let her mom die.
Yeah, of pneumonia.
Instead of giving her fucking medications. You heartless bastard.
She's not allowed to have medications. She is merely the wife of a council member, Sabrina. Okay.
Fuck.
I know. Do you think I have a question, a hypothetical for you? Okay. Because the only people who are allowed medicine are the council members and their children, it says. Do you think that pregnant council members' partners get medical treatment while they are pregnant? I'm guessing they have to have prenatal care, right?
I'm going to guess yes.
But then as soon as that parasite is out of your body, you are no longer allowed to have medicine, to the point that your husband will let you die of pneumonia.
Also, my biggest thing is, like, this is where your plants would really come in handy. Let's go back to, like, plant therapy.
Like, listen,
and
herbs don't fix everything, but they can help a little, you know? Like, you know, you can't do an herb for everything, but some stuff can benefit.
So, back to it. There's some sexy taunting because she's like, I want you. And he's like, you've already come once tonight.
Yeah, get out of here.
Don't get greedy.
Ooh, you greedy girl.
Oh.
Yeah. Sabrina's having a moment.
Oh.
So then.
I was not prepared. It happens occasionally where Melody just still says something and it's like, oh, okay. Gonna write that one down. Anyway.
So then the next morning, she walks out to see two men doing the sexiest thing they could ever be doing in the whole wide world, okay?
The minute I fucking saw that. Listener, I'm going to give you 3 seconds to think to yourself what the sexiest thing that two shirtless men could possibly be doing.
To me, Melody, in the middle of my obsession.
2, 3.
They're gardening.
They're tilling soil. They're fucking gardening.
They're setting up some new vegetable beds, okay? And, like, I will tell them right now. She's like, why don't you have any flowers? And they're like, because you can't eat flowers. But you know what is really great for pest control is companion planting. Everybody should have flowers in their vegetable garden because either two different plants can give each other nutrients or take different kinds of nutrients out of the same soil. Or they're, like, really good to keep pests away or, like, really good for, you know, some other shit. Everybody should have flowers in their vegetable garden.
I'm so grateful to have a plant scientist as a friend.
I'm not a plant scientist.
A plant genius.
If only.
So, yeah, they're gardening and she licks some water off of Ryland's chest. And then Connor comes up behind her.
Yeah.
And he tells her to undress that Ryland can lick her back because that's fair play.
And so you dish it out. You take it, Sabrina, okay?
She gets naked.
In the garden, just like in the open. It's fantastic.
And Ryland just does a little bit of a licky lick all up on that
drops
cooter.
to his knees. And makes her, oh my God, at one point, Connor says, put your finger, like, as far into yourself as you can. And so she, like, is fumbling because she's, like, so turned on. Ryland helps her insert her finger into her passage. And then she takes it out. He grabs it and just, like, noms it down while Ryland goes back to licking her clit.
And then he tells her to tell Ryland what she needs to get off.
Yeah.
And so she's she's gasping and moaning and telling Ryland what she needs. And then she does get off. And then he tells her to drop to her knees so that she can give Ryland a blowjob.
It's fantastic. She's so into it.
He says, you started all this, but because she gets fussy. She's like, but what about you?
Yeah, so Ryland comes, it's all great, but then he's like, how about we go for lunch?
She's like, why don't you, like, I want to touch you. I want to get you off. And he says to her, you started all this by licking Rye, remember? Next time, if you want me inside you, I suggest you lick me. So
And he's not even like salty about it. He's just like amused.
No. Oh yeah, he's got the boner from hell
He's
because
just
this was
thinking
so
this is a
hot.
great
He's
time.
into it. Like this was fun for him.
Yeah.
And then later,
She finds him in that
day,
barn.
in that big old barn with all the stuff in the barn.
Yeah.
And they have a combo about how she should. Don't try to understand me.
Oh yeah, I'm not understandable. You should use your energy elsewhere.
She's like, well, Ryland told me that you're not that hard to understand if I just look at you.
If I just try a little bit.
Try and give it a little bit of effort.
And he's like, I'm too enigmatic. There's too many secrets over here.
I'm such a Sebastian.
And also, maybe sit on my face a little bit. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Because
now they're
she says
making
that,
out.
well, yeah, because she says I need you to get some condoms somehow. And he's like, you're a breeder? She's like, yeah, look at this body, yaddy, yaddy. You know,
Do you
of course
know
I'm a breeder.
how happy I was that there was not a surprise pregnancy in this
For
book.
sure. Yeah.
Because, like, when we found out that she was a breeder, I was like, oh,
Your,
God.
your antenna go up? Mine did.
Yeah. I was like, please, no. Please don't do this to me. But, yeah, so they make out, and she asks him, why did you let Ryland touch me? And he says, it's hot.
He's like, you thought it was hot. And she's like, did you think it was hot? And he's like, yeah.
He's like, yeah.
Absolutely.
Fuck yeah, I did.
Well, because I think we should explain really quickly. She's coming from a completely different cultural perspective on sex. So when she went to the, like, quote unquote, whorehouse with him, she called it that. And then she was upset that he didn't correct her. But what he says right afterwards is like, she says, oh, is that what you think about women? Like all women are whores. And then he looks at her and he says, everybody's a whore out here. All of us are whores. So it's very like, it's a much more sex positive situation than the enforcer camps because although it's a communist system, they apparently offer like perks and extra money, extra food, vacations if women want to service the enforcers. But she says that like they get passed around and it feels really degrading and they don't get spoken about very respectfully.
I'll be honest. I'll give a blowjob for an extra week of vacay. You know what I mean? Like, I will give a blowjob for a vacation. That without
that seems
question.
fine. Sure.
Yeah.
No, so anyway, she's like, because they are so sort of sex negative, like they don't talk about it. She's really shocked at how open these people are about talking about their kinks or whatever. And
such a kink positive post-apocalyptic world.
Love it. I love it. Yeah.
It's wonderful. The sex positivity in this world outside of the cities definitely gave me a couple of moments where I was like, man, I want to live in this. And then I was like, no.
Showers,
I like
though.
I like a hot shower.
Yeah.
That's exactly my concern.
Grocery stores. Really helpful.
Yeah.
Like a grocery store, you know?
I do like a grocery store.
Not having to stockpile for winter. Excellent.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Speaking of grocery stores, Mel, I found a new type of rotisserie chicken at one of my other local grocery stores.
Wait, a new type? Explain.
It's not really a rotisserie chicken. It's like, they call it like smokehouse chicken. It's an 8-piece bag of stuff. I swear to fucking God, they put crack cocaine in those. There was a solid 2 weeks where I was picking one up from the store every 3 days.
Incredible.
Maybe every other day, if I'm being quite honest. I literally would come home and usually I would eat a piece on the way home from the store. And then I would get home and I would just like no veg, no fruit, no carb.
Oh,
only meat. Like I just went full fucking carnivore.
Oh my God.
For like 2 weeks, I felt so ill because I eat mostly vegetables in my day-to-day. But like it's so fucking good. My favorite part about getting home and actually being home for an extended period of time next week is going and getting one of those chickens.
Yee! I love it.
I want it so bad. My mouth is watering just thinking about it right now.
About this new rotisserie chicken, the smokehouse kind.
I fucking love a chicken, man.
I hear that.
And this specific chicken, it's just so juicy. And when you come visit, we're getting a chicken.
I love it.
Oh my God, Mel.
What?
The greatest bonding experience I've ever heard of in my entire life.
Okay.
I saw a TikTok of it. There are these two ladies, right? And they set out a tarp and they just put chicken.
Okay.
A rotisserie chicken in the middle of that tarp.
Yeah.
And then they go feral.
Yes.
Fight each other.
What?
Over this chicken.
Oh, I don't know about that.
No, but like fun, loving fighting.
Okay.
Where they're just like, they just go feral and rip this chicken apart with their bare hands and just go to town on it in the middle of this tarp. And then afterwards they have like hang out. And all I could think was, can we do this, Mel?
I'm down. I will fight you for a rotisserie chicken.
I will
fight you.
We're going to go feral on a rotisserie chicken one day.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, it's just
glorious.
Like the pictures, the video, it was like, I don't even remember the specifics. I just remember that I have never felt more seen in my entire life than watching these two people go feral over a rotisserie chicken and just obliterate it with their bare hands in shorts and sports bras.
Incredible.
Anyway, we need a motor.
Oh, yeah, we do. So, listen, she is like, if you're going to let me stay, I want everything. Like, I want to be in your bed and blah, blah, blah. And that's sort of what they do. So we go through a few different events. Like, she cooks everybody dinner. She learns about some of the technology that they have access to because one of the guys is trying to hook up a satellite phone.
Sexy hacker.
Yeah, sexy hacker Xander. And she shows him an app that is still in use by the enforcers that basically just like broadcasts their movements and their orders and their weapons movements and like all the shit.
Literally, they're everything. If you can get into this app, this is like,
everything.
Child's play.
Yeah. And then like there's different times where like the next day she like keeps on going outside to be like, do you need new water? This is my cleavage. Oh no. Okay, bye. And so he comes in and like corners her and he's like, Xander, leave. And Xander's like, yeah, like gets up and leaves so that he can just fuck her on that table.
And boy, howdy does he.
Wowza.
He nails her.
It's great.
He pinky toes the hell out of her.
Yeah. What?
You've never heard that?
No. What is that?
Because your pinky toe gets banged on the table all the time.
Oh, okay. You can bang someone like a pinky toe. I've never heard it used as the pinky toe doing the banging.
Oh no!
I mean, you said it. I didn't.
I know I did, but I've never thought of it like I've never been literal about it. That sounds. Oh God, why? I was having such a good time, Mel.
I was wondering if you read a different book or something. Like, I didn't see any toe play in this one. Anyway, so at some point, Rylan is in a fight with a wolf, like an ongoing feud with a literal wolf. And she keeps on like fucking up stuff in his cabin because mad.
He fed her one time.
And then he won't feed her
never
anymore.
Again.
And she's just like, fuck that and fuck you.
She breaks into his cabin to fuck with his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She will, in a group of items that everybody has stuff.
She'll sniff out Rylan's.
And obliterate it. It's the funniest thing.
Oh, it's great. So, like, they have to go hunting for that. Well, like Connor has to like talk him off a hunter's ledge so that he doesn't just go like shooting in the woods at night or whatever. And then Rylan comes in and he's a little bit hurt because he was like in a tree looking for this wolf and he fell out of the tree. And
he's such a fucking ding-a-ling. I love him.
I love him so much. He can be my mascot.
Does he stay
anytime.
a ding-a-ling in his book?
Yeah. Yeah, but you get to see like more of him, you know?
He's just a hot dummy.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And like he absolutely stays that way. But you get to see like him be competent too in a lot of different ways, which is lovely.
Well, that's the thing is like he's a hot dummy and he's like all like a ding dong and all of these things and all, but like even in this book you can see his competence.
Yeah.
He
gets
does he get it done.
And he gets it done right now because Connor comes in and nursing time turns into sexy time because he's like, hey, Connor, how's your dick? And he's like, here, you know, just hanging out. He's like, get it out. I'm in the mood for an audience. And he like, Connor likes to be the cruise director.
In charge.
Yeah. And he's always talking about like being really good at seeing what other people need to get off and like all that kind of thing. And at one point he tells her, because she's like, what's my kink then? And he's like, you haven't figured it out yet? And she's like, no. And he says, you make decisions all the time. You were like raised to be a leader. You just want to be able to not think for a while. And so you like when I boss you around.
I have.
Yikes. Wow.
Get out of my brain.
Right?
Connor. I need you to take a seat. And just back the fuck off, bud.
Yeah, I didn't know armchair psychologists could be so accurate, Connor.
Connor, how fucking dare you?
Yeah. So anyway, they do another threesome. Oh, I loved this though, because he's having a hard time because he wants to stay emotionally distant from her, but he also like doesn't like that she's becoming emotionally close to other people. And so like he won't spend the night with her. And ever since he told her he wasn't going to spend the night with her, he's noticed that like she's played by his rules completely. But he doesn't really like that she's played by his rules because that means that she's like, she comes to him for sex, but then she goes to Rylan for comfort. She goes to Xander for outlaw information. She goes to like, you know, she goes to like her community. But he has made it very clear that he's not going to be part of her community if it doesn't involve nakedness. And now he's having a hard time with that because
he wants everything.
Yeah, and he doesn't quite realize it. So in this scene, that works out by he's like going to be near her mouth, okay? And then Rylan is supposed to be fucking her from behind. And he doesn't like that Rylan's like rubbing her hips and like going really slow and like taking care of her or whatever. And he's like, Rylan, you need to just like fuck her. You were a guest star. This is about me and her, and you're lucky to be here, basically. And he doesn't say that to Rylan, but he's just like, what the fuck is this like intimacy between them? I don't like it, you know? But he also doesn't want to give her intimacy.
Yeah, because
he's just a dummy.
Sebastian.
Yeah, he's a Sebastian. So then she and Rylan go hiking around and they find his feuding wolf has gotten attacked by another wolf and she's dead.
She's dead.
And then they find a bunch of little wolf cubs. Most of them are dead, but one is alive.
Yeah, and so she brings it back to camp.
And Connor's like, absolutely not.
And she's like, absolutely yes.
And then all the guys are like, I mean, look at that fur ball, you know?
Because they're all softies. They're all so cute.
He's like, I'm just like losing control of my camp. This is ridiculous.
But yeah.
Pike gets milk like 2 hours away. He gets milk so that they can feed that baby wolf. And then she finds out that the key to Pike's heart is a baby wolf. And so they sort of start sharing that wolf
towards her.
Yeah.
And he, oh my God. It was a fucking turns out the reason Pike is so into the wolf is because he used to have a dog, but during one winter,
Oh, yikes.
they had to kill the dog and eat it.
So that is some post-apocalyptic stuff that really turns me off to the whole scenario. You know what I mean?
Well, it makes me go, what level of post-apocalyptic are we looking at, my friend?
I know. This is what I'm saying. Like, it's yikes.
You just donor partied your puppy.
Yeah, there's no other way to say it, really. Yeah. So now Xander has gotten a bunch of satellite phones working. So they've decided that they're going to take one to Lennox, the guy at the quote-unquote whorehouse, because it makes more sense for them to be able to, like, communicate that way, because they can still use radios around camp. So he hasn't talked to her, really, in, like, 2 weeks, because he's so mad about this wolf pup. Meanwhile, she and Pike are, like, co-parenting and bickering about training the wolf and, like, all the business. It's so cute.
It's adorable.
And then she's like, I could go with you if you want. And he's like, I guess, yeah, you can come. And so as they're about to leave, she, like, reaches up and gives him a kiss. And she's like, don't be mad at me. And he's like, well, I'm going to need you to stop bringing wolf pups home. And she's like, okay, I promise not to do it again if you stop being mad about this one. And he's like, yeah, okay. So they go down to Lennox's, and he's like, hang out with Jamie. I need to go chat with, like, whoever about the satellite phones. And then we meet Beckett. Beckett is a lovely addition that we get to see a lot of in book 2.
Really?
Highly recommend. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's flirting with her hard, and she's like being very friendly. And then all of a sudden he gets this, like, look of fear on his face. And she's like, I bet Connor's over my shoulder.
And Big Bad Connor comes rolling up, and he is jealous over Beckett flirting with her. He goes full alpha.
So he's like, yeah, I think Nell was looking for you. Bet she could really take care of whatever's happening over here. And he's like,
and when Beckett leaves, he's like, you can go with him if you want, Hudson. And she's like, I know that I'm allowed to, but what do you want? And then
he says, what do I want? As if I would want her to fuck Beckett. And then he just crashes down on her mouth with a searing kiss and pushes her up against the wall.
And then he straight up pulls her pants down in his pants.
Yeah.
And
gets
nails her against the wall.
Yeah.
In front of everybody. He just staked a claim.
Enters her without a condom in the common area where he's never had sex with anybody before. Everybody's watching. He's just pounding her into the wall, being like, I come when you come. And she's like, help me get there. And boy, does he. And then Lennox is like, hey, Con. And he turns around and, like, yeah.
I have a quote.
Please.
Because we meet this fantastic smuggler woman named Tamara.
Yes.
And she says to Hudson, honey, that man may as well have stuck a flag in your pussy and called it Connorland. What? Connor only fucks in the private rooms. If he did it out here where everyone could see, it was because he was sending a message telling everyone to keep their hands off you. How the hell did you manage that? You must have a magic pussy, baby. And I was like, yeah, she does.
Yeah.
It's also very potent.
It's a potent post-apocalyptic pussy, you know? So then Tamara is like, hey, girl, a lot of people haven't met Dominic, but I actually have. And wow, you two look almost identical.
It's almost like they're twins.
And she's like, what? No, certainly not. She's like, yeah, don't fuck with me. I know what's going on. And so she's like,
well,
are you going to tell? Yeah.
Hudson wanted to meet Tamara because Tamara, like we said, Tamara's a smuggler. And so she wants birth control shots so that she doesn't have to worry about condoms.
Or just, have 2 types of birth control.
Have 2 types of birth control. Because, like, boy, howdy, this is not a world or a situation where you want an unexpected pregnancy.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, like,
So,
not a man you want an unexpected pregnancy with in this current iteration of the man. And so she's like, don't worry, I won't tell anyone. And, you know, just to prove that I'm an ally, I'll get your meds for free. But, like, just know that I know. And she's like, holy fuck balls. She could tell the guys at any moment. And I know how mad Connor is about this.
yeah. So on their way home,
Holy shit.
Connor runs into some guys that got hit, like taken out by some bandits. They're wounded.
He almost wouldn't stop.
Well, she forces him to stop.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's a house about 20 miles that way. That's
Good
where
luck.
you need to go. Bye. And zooms off. And then she calls off their sex. So the agreement when they started to do their sex.
When they started to do sex.
Situation was they could both call it off whenever they wanted. No questions. It's just whenever. And she says, I'm calling it. And he's like, what? And she said, you said that when one of us was done with this, we should let the other one know. Well, I'm calling it.
Yeah.
I'm done, Connor. Because she's like, you are heartless.
It's like, what kind of fucking monster are you?
Uh-huh.
Like, do you even understand what it is to care about someone, let alone, like, love someone? Because they've got a ton of space up at this resort. And so she's been, like, cleaning out cabins and stuff really, like, slowly and on the sly. And she keeps on asking him, like, why don't you take in other outlaws? And he's like, we don't take in strays, blah, blah, blah. And so she's like, I can't believe, like, we could have driven back and, like, gotten a car to come get them. There are so many ways that we could have helped these people without actually putting our neck out that much. And you're just being like, go ahead and walk 20 more miles while you're bleeding and injured. What kind of fucking monster are you? And then she's like, do you even know what it's like to love someone? And he says, after a while, he says, I loved my wife. And she's like, what? Tell me everything about your wife.
You were married?
What? Because apparently marriage is, like, not really a thing anymore.
Yeah. So, yeah, because outlaws, they have, this is my man. This is my woman. That's how you don't have girlfriends. You don't have boyfriends. You don't have wives or spouses or anything like that. You got my woman. So basically what we find out is the whole story with Maggie. And we've already told you a lot of it, but he saw when he got back to the camp.
He was deer hunting because he had a whole passel of people who, like, couldn't take care of themselves.
Because that's what Maggie did, is she wanted to take in all of these lost little lambs.
Yeah.
Basically.
And so he was deer hunting, and there was nobody really to protect the camp. There was, like, one 17-year-old kid who knew how to use a gun. And when he gets back, he sees a bunch of enforcers leaving their house. And
they had just shot them execution style.
Yeah, without any kind of offer to come to the city or anything else.
And as far as he's concerned, he thought it was Dominic. We find out later in the coming up real quick that it's not Dominic who killed his wife and all of his friends and family. It is actually Knox, the sadistic asshole that Hudson escaped the city because she didn't want to marry him.
Yeah, because before he died, her dad apparently set up some kind of deal with Knox, and we're never told the particulars of, like, why the fuck her dad, like, what he got out of this deal in the first place. But he, like, arranged her marriage to Knox while he was still alive and didn't tell anybody about it. And then Knox came a call-in, and Dominic brought her the marriage contract and was like, hey, you apparently have to marry Knox, period, the end. And then he sent her off on, like, a nursing mission the next day, and that's when she escaped. So she is trying to get him to, like, describe this person, and he's like, he had black eyes, the color of soot and, like, sorrow. And everybody called him boss, and, like, it was Dominic. And she's having a really hard time because on the one hand, obviously she loves her brother. She knew what a sweet boy her brother was. But in the past couple of years, he has gotten a little bit more unstable. And
yeah, he's changed.
And she can't figure out why. So They make up because now that she knows the root of his Sebastianism and knows, all the reasons that he's a broken boy who just needs some loving to get fixed.
He just
Ooh.
needs some snuggles and magic pussy and he'll be okay.
He'll heal right up.
Well, he asks to sleep with her.
Yeah.
And not like have sex sleep with her, but just snuzzle
Mm-hmm.
and snuggle and go nappy times together.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh shit.
She's over the moon about it.
And then something clicks and she realizes that the man that Connor described isn't what Dominic looks like, because he describes a dark-haired man with black eyes and Dominic is blonde with gray eyes.
Mm-hmm. Which, like, how can you see that from the bushes 90 paces away? But, like, fine. I'll go with it. I don't know what color your eyes are, Sabrina. Are they brown? Are they hazel? Like,
they're hazel. I have no idea what color your eyes are.
Right? Like, I don't know. This is such a romance novel thing that I can't.
I have no idea what color. What color are your eyes?
They're hazel. They're more green than brown, but yeah, they're hazel.
Okay.
Anyway.
Fair.
Yeah, and so she's noodling on this for a while. And they end up like talking about, his wife and like how he didn't really know her or she didn't really know him because he would hide portions of himself to like make her happy because she didn't really like his intensity and his like darker side.
Uh-huh.
And Hudson is very like, but that's who you are, and like then she starts having sex with him being like, I want all of you, like give it to me however you want or whatever. It's fine. And then she's like, hey, describe this guy to me.
And he does. And she's like, I've met Dominic. That's not Dominic. That sounds like Knox. And Connor is all pissed off about it because now he's like, Dominic is still the one who set those orders and like it's still his fault and I'm going to kill both of them now.
Mm-hmm.
And then ding, 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 Lennox calls because he's caught a deserter. So she avoids all of the enforcers because they're going to recognize her.
Yeah.
Like she is an honorary enforcer. She has the tattoo. It's just hidden under makeup.
She has Dominic's lady face,
Also, so bing boom bong, makeup.
What kind of makeup is this? When is she reapplying it? Is it just all the time?
Also, like, how do you skin tone match? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. What kind of indelible cover-up is this?
You have like 18 different guns, 6 different knives, and then like 50 bottles of the perfect concealer. What are you planning to do for the rest of your life with it? Like, what?
Yeah, this was wild. She also says that she like always wears her hair down or in a braid. And I'm like, girl.
I can see I can see a neck around a braid.
Oh yeah. Don't turn your head anytime you got a braid on.
I got a lot of questions. But they go to the So, question.
Okay, give it to me.
If you're so worried about enforcers recognizing you, why did you go with Connor?
She's got to be in it. She's got to be in it. She's got to help. She's got to figure things out. And so she manages to like get in there without him being like, I bet he might talk to a lady. I'm less intimidating or whatever. And Connor's like, yeah, you can handle yourself. Get on in there.
He's going to be bamboozled by your tits.
Right.
Go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she walks in and he doesn't know who Hudson is, but he recognizes her because she looks exactly like her twin fucking brother.
Yeah. And he's like, they've been looking for you. And like Dominic and Knox just got in a giant fight because Knox wanted to send out like 24/7 search parties. And Dominic was like, nah, man, we're not doing that. And so that confuses her a little bit.
It confused me too. I didn't Sherlock Holmes this in the slightest.
Oh, okay. Okay. I did. Yeah.
I figured that there was something going on with Dominic, but I did not Sherlock Holmes.
And then this kid also says that like they're no longer getting vitamin pills anymore. They're getting vitamin injections, but it like changes their personalities and makes them really aggressive. And he was just like, I can't do this anymore. I gotta go. And so she says, like, I will let you go, but you cannot tell anybody who I am and you can't tell anybody that you've seen me. And so he's like, fine, great. And so all this time, Connor has been trying to figure out the location of the enforcer compound because he wants to be able to take Dominic out. And so she, up until this point, that was where she lived. Like, she didn't live in the city. She lived in the compound. And so he's like, do you know the location? And up until this point, she's been like, no, not at all. Never even heard of it, really.
But now she has the excuse that this deserter told her where it is.
Yeah.
And so she explains to him where it is. They let the kid go. And then they go home. And Hudson, you have terrible fucking timing.
Hudson.
So she rocks Connor's world and basically feeds him back what he told her previously, which was, you need to
make
let
decisions
go and
all
let
the time.
Let somebody else make decisions.
Let me take care of you.
And then we have a really beautiful scene where she's in control.
And he trusts her with everything.
And then once they're done and they both climaxed, she stands up and looks him dead in the face and says, I'm Dominic's sister.
She just blurts it out. And he's like,
ma'am,
what? And so they get in this giant fight.
He's still sex confuzzled.
Oh, yeah.
He's like sexed out. And then she just drops that goddamn bomb.
So he's like, what?
And her reasoning,
oh my God, this is nuts,
is that after this beautiful experience, she just can't lie to him any longer because she's in love with him.
I just felt so close to him. Oh.
And I just couldn't have this between us. And I'm like, can we just wait until the man has some pants on at the very least? He is still cock out.
Or like, wait until you're in mixed company?
His penis is still covered in you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Let the man wet wipe first, okay?
He understandably freaks the fuck out. So she's like, I told you a lot of the truth. I just didn't tell you all of the truth. Here's how it's different. I am Dominic's sister. Like, my dad was a council member, but like, I am a nurse and I did all the things. And like, I was only an honorary enforcer and like all the business. And so he's like, you're the sister of the man who killed my wife. And she's like, that is debatable. But also, I'm the sister, you know, like he supposedly did all those things. I haven't done anything. And he's like, get the fuck out. He
gives her an ultimatum.
Her.
He gives her an ultimatum. He says, either you get me in so that I can kill Dominic and Knox, or get the fuck out, you're exiled. And she chooses exile because she doesn't want him to kill her brother.
And she counter offers, I will take you to Knox, but I'm not going to let you kill Dominic. He can go to jail or whatever, but like, don't make me deliver my twin brother to you. I shared a uterus with him.
But also, I do have to say, what jail, Hudson?
I know.
What jail? It's not going to be the city enforcer jail.
No.
You're going to send him to outlaw jail?
Yeah.
Does that even exist? I'm pretty sure outlaw jail is an execution.
Yeah. Yeah, outlaw jail is just a buried school bus, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not great. And he thinks this is totally reasonable. This is hilarious. He's like...
Well, and she's like, but I love you. And he's like, I don't care.
Take your fucking demon
get out
snake love somewhere else.
I don't want any more of that potent post-apocalyptic pussy. I don't care about your love.
No.
You and your leather pants can just swamp ass away from here.
That's
okay?
Correct. I'll give you a motorcycle and you can leave. Oh my God.
Go, Lassie.
Yeah.
Get gone.
Get out
Go,
of here.
girl. So she does. She fucks off. She goes to Lennox's.
Yeah.
Because that's the only other place that she knows.
Oh my God. They take her in.
Anybody. They take her in. And she's decided that she's going to go fuck off with Tamara and become a smuggler too. Which, like, frankly, that sounds like a great job for you, Hudson. Like, you know the city like nobody's business.
Right?
Like, if anybody is going to be a smuggler, you are tippy top of the list of ideal candidates.
I mean, get a better disguise, you know?
Disguise. Yeah. Dye your hair.
Yeah.
Maybe
put on some old
change
ass
your
glasses.
outfits.
You know, it worked for Clark Kent. Like, it'll probably work for her.
Yeah.
Some frilly
Absolutely.
skirts, maybe, you know?
Honestly, just get bangs because people are
Get some bangs.
unidentifiable when they get bangs.
It's true.
Like,
It's true. That's a scientific fact.
like, have you seen pictures of Zoe Deschanel with bangs and then without bangs?
Yeah, it's wild.
She looks like a completely different person.
Those are two different humans. Yeah.
That's her and her vaguely related 15th cousin.
Yeah.
You know, like they are related by their great 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 grandma.
It's true. Like they would barely hit on a genealogical website.
They could get married.
Yeah.
Like get married like 14 times over, you know? But anyway.
So as they're like talking and strategizing with her, they get raided. And then we zippy zap away to when the boys find out that she's been exiled and they are pissed.
They're so mad at Connor.
They're
and
so
they
mad.
mutiny.
Right
They're
in front
like,
of him.
Fuck you, Connor. And he's like, no, you can't go get her. This is my camp. And they're like, guess what? You didn't want to be the fucking leader.
Get out.
So now you're not.
You don't
Get
have
out.
to
If
be.
we're bringing her back. You don't have to be the leader, but we're bringing her back.
She's one of us, they say.
You did this not because it's best for the camp, but because it was best for you, buddy. And you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah, Rylan says she hurt you and you reacted like a lion with a thorn in its paw. And that made me very happy.
That's exactly what he did. He was, oh my God. Well, okay, so they're all drama queens, frankly, is what's happening here. Like, he drama kings himself, she drama queens and flouses away. And I'm like, you kind of just like, you didn't have to go. You realize that, right? Like, he quote unquote didn't let you go talk to anybody. But guess what? You could just go chill in the woods for like
or
a little while until
make
he's
a
not
ruckus. You can be like, boys, wake up.
Ryland!
Yeah.
Oh my God. So fucking hilarious. So Connor, by the way, now that everybody is left, taken every single vehicle. Every single vehicle.
Oh my God. And he tells Rylan, this is so funny. He's like, what? I give her food and like a motorcycle and like whatever. And also I
let
gave
her take her stuff.
Yeah, I let her take her bag or whatever. And then Rylan's like, this is ridiculous. And he's like, well, I did give her a choice. And Rylan's like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, I told her that she can either sentence her brother to fucking death. And if she does that, she can stay. And Rylan's like, you are not making words
that's not a choice.
No.
That's not a choice.
What kind of maniac are you? Rylan says.
So all of a sudden, so after everyone has left, he's just sitting around with his thumb up his ass, sad, because he's like, oh shit, I'm in love with Hudson. And now I have to wait. And when she gets back, I'm going to apologize. I'm going to grovel and I'm going to be a sad little puppy and hope that she forgives me.
That's right.
Well, they all get back, but it's not just the boys. It is also Lennox and Jamie and the other girls.
And not Hudson.
And Hudson's not there. And they're like, she got taken.
Knox has her, they say.
I would like to say really quickly, the end of this book was very anticlimactic. I felt like there was all of this like lead up to this like big ol' hoedown, showdown, like what, and then it was done in like 40 pages. I was like, all right, but that's okay.
Yeah, you know what? All three books have a pretty serious third act intrigue that happens.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they all sort of go like this.
Well, and like, to be clear, I'm not saying that I was disappointed in the end of book. It was just like, I did feel like it was leading up to this like gigantic showdown. And then it just, is not what's
and then it was just
here.
like jokes. We're just going to, just slide
There
under the radar.
All done. Yeah.
Bye.
So we find out that, so we zippy zap. We are in Hudson's point of view. Knox is being a sadistic, misogynistic piece of shit. And he slaps her and it's a whole thing. And then Dom gets there and he's like, get the fuck out, Knox. I want to spend time with my sister. And we find out Dom is who he's always been It's just those aggressive meds, and like it's like a switch flips.
Yeah. And it happens
He
once in
doesn't
front of
remember
her.
things.
Yeah. And she says, like, you told me I had to marry him. And he's like, no, don't. I said a lot of things, but don't look at what I said. Look at what I did. I warned you that this marriage thing was going to happen. And then I sent you out in the field where I was really hoping you would escape.
You would escape.
And you did it. Great job, sis. And she's like, holy shit. And like, that's the reason that he wasn't putting like search parties out or whatever. Because he didn't want her to be found. And they figure out, one of the guys comes in and he's like, sir, did you put this message out here about, meeting 2 clicks outside of the West Gate? And he's like, what?
At
No.
4 a.m.?
Yeah. What? No. And then she makes twin eye contact with him. And so he sends the guy out and she's like, I think that's my group. They know how to get into the communication system. And so he's like, great. I've got 4 hours to figure out how to get you out of this compound, and then you can go meet up with your pals.
Which means it's midnight. And I'm like, we're having a family reunion?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
At midnight?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's big news,
I mean,
his missing
I guess
sister
I'm just
got
an
back.
old woman. I'm like,
I know.
I would not be. I'd be like, I'll see her in the morning.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
fine. But anyway, so he gets her out and she runs off into the forest, nobody the wiser. And then as she's running through the forest, we hear knocks and he's like, going somewhere.
Ooh, he's such a mustache twirler in this moment. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
So he's
You
got
dramatic
her.
little shit.
And he's like, I don't care. Your dad gave the colony, we're supposed to open a colony together and it's supposed to be ours to rule over and enforce and like blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I'm not going to willingly marry you. And he's making all sorts of threats. And then Connor hears her like scream a tiny bit. And so they go over there. Connor goes in and Knox is like, who are you? And he says, how ironic. Person who's given me nightmares for 2 years doesn't even know who I am. And he looks Knox dead in the eyes and he says, I'm the guy who's going to kill you. And then he double taps him.
And then he
Boom,
does.
boom.
Triple taps him.
Maybe even triple. And he's like, he looks over at Hudson and he's like, I see some emotion in her eyes. It's not grief. It's triumph. And he thinks it's so sexy. And she's like, why are you here? And then Dominic comes into the clearing and he's like, are you okay? He trains his weapon on Dom. And she's like, Connor, no. And then
bad dog.
Yeah. Dominic says like, who are you? And he tries to explain or whatever. And then
Connor's like, she's my woman.
Yeah. He says, oh, is this one of your friends? He's like, we're not friends. She's my woman. Woman. And then she's like, if you kill him, you will never see me again. I'm serious, Connor.
Never.
You will never see me again. Then he's like, she means business. And so he puts his rifle down and he says, I surrender. And Dominic's like,
oh, wait. I have the quote.
Yeah, please.
He says, I surrender. And Hudson's brother blinked. Then he laughed. Nobody asked you to do that, buddy. Pick up that weapon and get my sister the hell out of here. And it's like, Connor,
what do you think he's
What
doing?
did you think that surrendering was going to do?
Like, what? It's fine.
What?
So,
it's fine. Heat of the moment. This is his grovel.
He's such a dummy and I love it. So they get to the helicopter that they have commandeered and she is like, boys, you get the chopper ready. I have to slap my man. And so.
Oh, no. So first, Connor looks at her and says, I love you.
Right, because she asks him again, why are you here?
The shit out of him.
Yeah. And so he's like.
He's just grinning like a loon.
He loves it.
And he's like.
You can slap me as many times as you want for the rest of our lives.
And she's like, for the rest of our lives?
Oh.
Does that mean? And he's like, yes.
Yeah.
Forever.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it's great. And now they have way more people living at the compound because Jamie and Lennox and their whole crew is there.
I just have one more quote that made me laugh.
Yeah.
Because now they're making out and they're like about ready to just
Oh, I
have
love
standing
this.
up sex. And hey, assholes, can we speed this up? Like called. Seriously, Rylan agreed. Either get to the sex or stop because watching you suck each other's faces is kind of nauseating.
And also, like, full ass army, 2 clicks away, you know?
Yeah, like,
Like-
get the fuck out of Also, like, my biggest thing is like, the enforcers are bad at enforcing if they didn't notice a helicopter.
Right?
You know?
Like, how far can a click be? You know?
I have no idea.
That's me neither. Hey, geography HBs, how far is a click? I don't know. So
It
anyway,
is-
they're together forever now.
It is 1 mile. It is 2 kilometers.
Okay. So it's a good,
It is-
5K about.
No, I'm saying a click is 1 kilometer.
Oh, it's a kilometer. Oh, I
It is
see.
1.24 miles.
Interesting.
You can hear a helicopter
For sure.
from that distance.
Yeah.
And it's the middle of the fucking night.
And like helicopters need lights and stuff.
Yeah.
They have got lights on them, I've heard.
They're so inept. I love it. Long story short, book was great.
Loved
and
book.
they're forever.
Loved book.
ATA happily ever after.
I devoured the rest of the series. I can't wait to tell Sabrina about it.
I'm
It's
excited
gonna be
to hear
great.
about it.
Okay, Sabrina, what is your lady love?
You go first.
Okay, mine is remember when we read that Sarina Bowen book about the
Hard
hockey?
hitter?
Yeah, the hard hitter and the yoga. There was this, I don't know if it was that book or one of the next ones, but in that series somewhere, there is this yoga class that really hit me where I lived. And it was really helpful because mostly I've done like gym yoga, and so there's not usually a bunch of philosophizing during it. It's very like workout yoga and then get the fuck out. So it was neat to see. I've only been to a couple of classes where like the teacher actually like speaks and like, does inspiring shit. Anyway, one of the things that the instructor said in this yoga class, in this fictional book, was the idea of never give up and always surrender. And it seems really counterintuitive when you hear it at first, but it's like never give up working toward what you want to achieve. Have the discipline, go after your desires, but then always remember that sometimes the outcome isn't going to look exactly the way you planned. And that's where the surrendering comes in. Because it might work out better if it doesn't look the way you planned. And they had this whole like bike metaphor about like, pedaling to the top of a hill and all that kind of thing. But I don't know. I really liked the idea that like, even though it might look different than you expected, sometimes it might glean outcomes that you could have never predicted or even known that you wanted. Yeah, so never give up and always surrender. Noodle on that for a while,
that.
HBs. I've been noodling on it quite a bit.
I like that.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, Sarina Bowen, for that fictional yoga class. All right, should we get out of here?
Do I not get a lady love?
Do you want a lady love? I was trying to give you an out.
I do want a lady love.
Okay.
I just,
Give it to me.
my lady love is
Smokehouse chickens. Is it that smoky
that is a good one.
smoky
But I
chicken?
think my lady love is actually see your friends a lot if you
Mm.
can. I am seeing my friends, the friends who I used to live like right next door to. We've all been friends for like a decade,
Aw.
over a decade now. And I will be seeing them 4 times this year.
Amazing.
Usually it's like maybe once. And sometimes that means waking up at 5:30 in the morning on a Saturday after you've been at a conference all week
Mm-hmm.
and driving 4.5 hours to make it.
You're going to do it,
But
though.
that's my lady love. See your friends as much as you possibly can, especially when that involves a hockey game.
I love that.
Mhm.
Yay.
Yeah, we're going to go see a hockey game tomorrow, and I'm very excited. I've never seen hockey live.
Ooh, fun.
I'm ready. My body is ready.
Nice. All right, yeah.
So, yeah. All right.
HBs,
So-
keeping a badass and
love yourself as much as you love telling your best friend what to do to your woman.
that's right. Ooh. You
All
just
right.
get your cruise director on, all right?
Yeah. Captain Connor.
All right, bye.
All right. Bye.
Oh my God.
Heaving Bosoms is produced by us, Melody Carlisle and Sabrina Bradley. Editing is done by Melody Carlisle.
Our theme music is by the incredible singer-songwriter Brittany Fonts, and our art is by ultra-talented author Kate Pryor. If you like our show, remember to follow us on your favorite podcast app, rate us 5 stars, leave a nice review, and of course, tell all your friends about us, even if they don't read romance.
If you want to get in touch, you can email us at heavingbosomespodcast@gmail.com. If you want more of us, visit patreon.com/heavingbosomspodcast. You can also find us on Instagram at Heaving Bosoms, on TikTok at Heaving_Bosoms, and in our Facebook group, the Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult.
Head over to our website to sign up for our newsletter, get our Reading Embrace printable, and check out my audiobooks at heavingbosoms.com. All right, we'll be back next week with more swoons and snark. See you then.